Heading back to the Bayou for Risen Star Day. Let's get this going.
Trust the Profits is proud to be sponsored by Game of Silks. Go to silks.io to get in the game. Real ownership, real races, real rewards.
That's right, horse racing fans, and welcome to Keith's Cash Plays. My name is Keith, and you could find me at the handle Each Every Stride on X Twitter. Welcome to Keith's Cash Plays, where we try to find value play horses, hopefully at a price of 5 to 1 or higher. And we've gone all across North America. We've seen some decent results. And the results are in. And episode 12 now we're on. So a couple of months of the show. I really appreciate you guys tuning in and checking it out. And we stand packed at the 33% clip there. So we went 1 for 3 last time. And these are the price horses to get into the trifecta. So in the money at least. And other brainstorms to consider on the big race day ahead. Now we're going to be heading to the Risen Star for Saturday at the fairgrounds. And I always say you still have to pick your spots as a horse player. I try not to bet every single race, especially on the big days. You really want to form an opinion and look for races that have vulnerable favorites. This could lead to value if you really a strong opinion in that race on a horse that maybe is being overlooked or is not the morning line favorite. Appreciate again you guys tuning in, and we're going to be heading to the Risen Star Day, so back to the Bayou at the fairgrounds. This is a stacked grade 2 field of 3-year-olds, and to me this is the most stacked field really, as far as I've seen on the Derby Trail leading up to the 150th running for the Run for the Roses. I'm going to be looking at some of the undercard races. I saw it and I found some value play horses to consider, and I'm actually going to be sprinkling in 2 of the stakes races too, leading up to the big Risen Star. So let's take a look a little bit further at the PPs for you, and hopefully some horses here for you to consider come post time. I'm going right to the opener here. I like the number 7 Copter, and I'll explain why. This horse was a speed and fade last out at Delta Downs. You had Tim Thornton aboard, who's one of the leading jockeys there at Delta. And then the previous race, this horse was 6.5 furlongs at Delta on a rain-soaked track. Now you get back to the preferred distance. So let's look a little bit further here. So this is going to be 6 furlong distance for the opener on Saturday. All right, let's look here. Hopefully dry conditions too. Now this horse is 2 for 3 in the money at 6 furlongs. Now I know that's a small sample size, but one of my main angles for this show is I'm looking for horses that have run well on this surface, distance, connections, trainer, all that considering, but I really like how horses run well at certain distances. Let's look here a little bit further for you. So we got 2 out of 3 in the money. We got a first place and a second place there for Copter at 6 furlongs. All right. And then now you get Florent Geroux aboard. So one of the top jockeys, in the circuit. So I like when a top jockey like that jumps aboard. And if you look back at these races in February, let's take a look a little further at the PPs here. All right. Let's take a look here further for you. Now we got February races, they just look tougher, and Flo actually won on this horse last year at the fairgrounds and then finished second place. So you got those 2 right there. I like those 2 races. I know it was a year ago, but facing tougher company, at the fairgrounds, so same track. And why not? I mean, this horse was actually bet those races 3 to 1 and 6 to 1. So this horse was bet at the windows and was well meant. So if we can get back to that form, now we just don't know the morning lines yet, but I'm just considering looking at all these other horses in this opener. I think this horse has a legit shot to hopefully get in the money, work out a nice rail trip there, in the opener. So let's take a look and see. Yep, and that was fairgrounds for race 1 here. All right, so we're going to keep it moving here for fairgrounds race 2. Let's look a little bit further for you. Okay. All right, good. So we got, as far as we're going to be going right to race 2 here. So I'm going to be maybe putting a daily double, a Keith Cash Play value double, as they say. So let's look a little bit further at the PPs here for you. Okay. We got so this is a mile and a 16th on the turf. So this is a optional claimer. So let's look a little bit further at the PPs here. I'm going right to the rail here. This is going to be Verbal, the number 1 horse. Okay, let's look a little bit further here. Now, I did misspoke. I actually said I was going to the rail in the opener, so I apologize. That was the number 7 horse there, Copter in the opener. But we got number 1 here for Verbal. I'll explain to you why. Now, this horse has been going 8 furlongs on the synthetic at Turfway the last 2 efforts. It was the betting favorite, actually, off of the layoff, now in the Brandon Walsh barn. And then came in 2nd place that day, and then comes back on January 16th at Turfway and finishes 2nd as well. I just didn't think that this horse maybe, needed a race or 2 off of the layoff. Now you get back to the preferred distance and preferred surface there on the turf. So let's look at these PPs a little further here. You get Tyler Gaffalione jumping aboard. We know the history of Walsh and Gaffalione. I think that the horse is live with that, considering Tyler jumps aboard. And this horse was in the Chad Brown barn, even, last year, and ran very competitive races in the Naira circuit with Jose Ortiz aboard. And if you look even further, this horse actually broke his maiden on debut, and then 2nd race wins a grade 3. So there's some talent here, and comes back to the non-winners of 2 condition. Yep, non-winners have not won 3 races in their life. So back to the non-winners of 2. It's technically a condition, a drop for this horse. And I like how this horse comes back with the 2 workouts. So let's look here. We got a coming back with a January 25th. We got a January 31st. And then we actually had a workout just recently on February 8th. So we got a couple workouts here. All right. So with all those considered, I just think that this horse could really fire a big one come post time. All right. So we got race 2 there, and then we're going to go to race 8. We'll keep it moving for you guys. Let's take a look here. All right. Now we got race 8. This is going to be the sprint turf, 5.5 furlongs. And I'm going with a number 1 horse again here. I'm looking at Silent Poet. Now this is going to be hopefully a big cash play for me, because this is a now 9-year-old gelding making his seasonal debut with a lot of changes. So this is pretty cool to see this in the PPs, a 9-year-old. I actually remember this horse. This horse is really raced everywhere you can think of. I mean, this horse was at Woodbine, Gulfstream, then moved to California in the John Sadler barn. And now it shows up at the fairgrounds at seasonal debut at age 9. Gotta love these hard-knocking horses. And now this horse is in the Tanner Tracy barn, hitting at 19%. Tanner Tracy with first out horses in her barn. And then also we got 17% with horses off of a 105-day layoff. So not bad percentages there, I think, for Silent Poet. Let's look a little bit further at the PPs here for you. All right, let's take a look a little further here. Now, we do have interesting note that Silent Poet is the only horse in this race adding Lasix. So all the Lasix players, I think that was kind of interesting that this is the only horse in the race adding Lasix. You get Jareth Loveberry aboard in the saddle now, going back to the preferred sprint distance. Now, I know the 1 hole is a little tricky. You got to show speed, hopefully not, break bad and have bad positioning. But if you look back at these races at Del Mar, they are sprinting. And let's look a little bit further here. They're good efforts. I mean, they really are. Let's see. We got definitely tougher competition, and we have a lot of in-the-money finishes. Now, I know that some of these were, a little bit, off the board, but I think with the refreshing, you get a lot of changes here now. I like these horses that get the makeover in the new barn. A lot of changes here for the trainer. So give me number 1 here, Silent Poet. All right, so let's keep this moving here. And we got one more race here for you. That was race 8. Now we're looking at, Yeah, race 8, that was the Colonial Powell Stakes, Power Stakes. So, all right, so I got that one covered for you. And then we got race 12. Let's look at going for a number 1 horse again. So hopefully number 1 will be my my number that comes Saturday at Fairgrounds. We got Johnny's Fireball. So you got to love this name here. And this is a Fairground Stakes. So grade 3 Fairground Stakes, 12th race Saturday at the Fairgrounds. Let's look at this a little bit further for you. All right, so this is Johnny Fireball. And as far as this horse, I mean, this horse, as I'm looking here a little bit further, I just think this is going to be a fun race to watch. You got a lot of great competitors. I was looking for a horse that had versatility, that didn't need the lead, but also won't be too far back, won't be pace dependent, could really hopefully work out a nice trip. Now, this horse has been working out very well leading up to Saturday's races. So let's look. We got a bullet workout just recently the other day. 1 out of 65 horses at 47-4 really just caught my eye there. This horse is hopefully firing at the right time. I mean, gotta love a bullet workout like that. Now you do go back here to a high percentage trainer jockey combo in Norm Cassie and Ricardo Santana. They're actually hitting at the highest percentage in this entire field at 31%. And you know, the race on December 23rd, let's look at it. So December 23rd, I just told me that this horse actually had something left in the tank. I watched the replay. You know, this horse rallied and finished 4th, only losing by 2.5 quarter lengths. You know, I just think that there's going to be a step forward, going to need a step forward, you know, on this big stakes race. But with all those angles considered, I really think that this horse also has a chance come post time. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. And let's just review what we got here. We're going action-packed for Saturday. It's going to be, actually, I'm sorry, it's Saturday, February 17th at the Fairgrounds. And we got race number 1, I'm going with number 7, Copter. Race number 2, I'm going with number 1, Verbal. And race number 8, I'm going with number 1, Silent Poet. And race number 12, I'm going with number 1, Johnny's Fireball. So I got a 7-1-1-1. So I'm hoping the rail's hot. Hope you guys consider these horses as price plays come post time. Thank you so much for tuning in. And remember to hit the like button and subscribe to Trust the Profits. Thank you so much for supporting my show and checking it out. And this is Keats Cash Plays. So hopefully you keep cashing those tickets and keep it moving. Take care now.